Everyone. Um, this is Dimitri Pergamonic with Market Chameleon. I think Will's having technical issues today, so he's not going to be joining us. Before we get started, we put up a disclaimer here really quickly. Market Chameleon and myself, we're not a registered investment advisor or broker dealer. We're not providing you with investment advice. We're just sharing ideas. So there's the disclaimer here, and then let's move on. I'm going to share my screen here, and what we'll cover today is a tool that allows us to track how a stock performs around a particular event, and we're going to use Ex-Dividends as the event. The idea there is to pick a stock and look how that stock behaved around its ex-dividend. Did it tend to have increased volatility? Was there a tendency to run up the stock into the dividend, or the other way around? And what happened after the dividend, after the stock went ex-dividend? So let's try to get some insights with that, and we have to first select the stock. So let's just use SPY in our example because that's our go-to symbol. We're going to type in SPY up top. It'll take us to the SPY main page here. And then on the left-hand side, there's a menu. We're going to click on Tools. And then under Tools, we're going to click on Events. And I'm going to close this menu to expand our screen. And we come to this page here. And first, we have to select the event we want to load a report for. I'm going to drop this menu down by clicking on it. And over here, you can see we have different selections. We're going to click on ex-dividend dates. And then we're going to load the report. And this looks at the last 12 observations when SPY went ex-dividend. Let's come down to the table below. And here we see these are the relevant dates that it went ex-dividend. You could see here if you hover over it, if there was headline news, you could also read that because obviously that could also impact the stock price. And let's just see how SPY performed around that, corporate event of paying an ex-dividend. So first, we have the performance heading into the ex-dividend date. Do traders and investment community, do they tend to buy or run up the stock ahead of that ex-dividend? Maybe nothing happens. Maybe they sell the stock. So let's see what the tendencies look like. And here we have a 2-week performance heading into ex-dividend, and 1 week, 3-day, 2-day, and 1 day. So this is the performance for each observation. And if we come down here, we get these summary stats. So you could see here, on average, the average return was negative 0.6%, with a 50-50 run up of positive versus negative observations. So sometimes it was positive, sometimes it was negative. So you could see that here it's 50-50, and really just leading up into the ex-dividend, it doesn't look like there's anything there to suggest that there's a run up or tendency for the stock to go up into the ex-dividend date. All these are negative, and you can see the percentages are around the 50-50 mark. So let's take a look at, and also here we could see the volatility or the average move in either direction, up or down, heading into that event. And this lets us know if there's more volatility, or does the stocks tend to stay in a smaller trading range. Now let's go to the day of the event. So this is after it goes ex-dividend. Now the stock's ex-dividend. What happens then? Does the stock on a ex-dividend adjusted basis, does it tend to sell off, go up? What happens? So at the open, we could see that it tends to drop more often than go up. 83% of the time it was down, or 17% up, for an average loss of 0.4%. Then we look at the daily activity after the open. Okay, so then how did it trade? And here we could see from the open to the high of the day, the average move was 0.6%. From the open to the low of the day, the average move was negative 0.6%. So there's no real skew there. It's basically up or down 0.6%. And the drift from the open to the close. So how did it, if we just use the opening price as our reference, the new fair value at the open, what did it do by the close of the day? Here also it's 50-50 break even. So far it doesn't show that there's a real positive factor into the ex-dividend. If anything, it looks a little bit more negative from history. And you could see on the day, 75% of the time, it's down on the day after reporting ex-dividend. And this is a dividend adjusted performance, down 0.4%. And it does look maybe after this, if we use the end of day after it goes ex-dividend, if we use the end of day as our new reference price, what tends to happen coming out? And here we see that after the dividends paid out, the performance looks a little bit better. 75% of the time, the day after, the stock is higher. On a 2-day performance, 67% of the time it's higher. 3-day performance, and then it kind of levels off. If we wanted to just compare the volatility of the stock even before and after, we could look at the 2 weeks look relatively close together. The 1 week heading into the ex-dividend was a little bit more volatile than the 1 week heading out. And this is just a quick way to compare, the absolute moves. So it looks like in the shorter time frame, a week or less heading into the ex-dividend, the stock was a little bit more volatile than, the 1 week period heading out post ex-dividend. And below here, these are the median ranges. So the median ranges take out, or they compensate for skew. So if there's a big, move up or down, the averages will get skewed. So we look at the median ranges here, and you can see here that the median ranges actually look a little bit better than the average, where you get a couple pluses here, meaning that the average moves were pulled down, probably because of some of these bigger moves to the downside. Okay. And if we wanted to just compare the max move up and down to get a sense of the range and skew. Here we could see, that some of the up moves, in a 4.9% range, 3.1, are not as dramatic as the down moves that we seen going into it. So the skew historically, was that less liquidity or more volatility to the downside than the upside. But heading out, get a little bit of a different scenario where the skew was higher to the upside, except maybe this one over here all the way at the end at the 2-week range. And this table helps us to get a quick sense of the behavior and the distribution of returns in this stock if we anchor it to an ex-dividend day as the corporate event. I'm going to stop right there because we're right up at we completed basically this table and covered each section. So hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good trading day. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we see you tomorrow morning.
Great job, D. Thanks everyone for joining. Remember, thumbs up and like us on Facebook. Great job as always, D. Everyone have a great day. Thanks, buddy.
Bye.